Welcome to Stabilizing the Mind meditation, brought to you by Her Eminence, Jetsama Akalamo, and Kunzang Pyo Choling, a Buddhist temple in the Vajrayana tradition. We'll begin with 3 repetitions of the 7-line prayer, which will appear on your screen. Morgen yogi nupchangsam Pemage sardompola Yatsen chogi odrumne Pemajune shesudrak Kordu kandro mangpokor Kietki jesu dag druki Chinji lop chir shek suso Guru Pema Siddhi Hum Morgen Yogi Nupchang Sam Pema Ge Sardom Pola Yatsen Chogi Odrumne Pema June Shesudrag Kordu Kandro Mangpokor Kiedki Jesu Dag Druki Chinji Lop Chir Shegu So Guru Pema Siddhi Hum Organ Yogi Nupchang Sam Pema Ge Sardom Pola Yatsen Chogi Odrumne Pema June Shesu Kordu Kandro Mangpokor Kietki Jesu Dak Druki Chinji Lop Chir Shegzu So Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. So, welcome again. This is Stabilizing the Mind meditation, a meditational technique to develop spaciousness in the mind, based on this text by Her Eminence, Jetsama Akon Lamo. It is available, and it does have some more advanced meditation techniques. If you feel like you might be ready to go a little deeper in your meditation, then I suggest this book might help a little bit. I've been thinking, when we started out here at KPC, even before there was a KPC, before we were formally introduced to Buddhism, and found out that even though we weren't calling ourselves Buddhists, but calling ourselves New Age, that actually we were learning Buddhism, just under the guise of a different vocabulary, I guess, in a different culture. And the first meditation that we learned how to do was called a light meditation. Excuse me. And then there was another one I was thinking of this morning. We're not going to do them today, but I'm just putting feelers out. The light meditation, even though it was the first one that we were taught, was not necessarily for beginners. And we started the prayer vigil at that time, and so we were doing that meditation for 2 hours at a time. So I think that we could manage doing it here. There was another one, and I forgot what it is. And so this is just a heads up. We're not going to do it today, but I wanted to lay a little groundwork first. And if I can think of the second one maybe is counting the breaths, which is the very first Buddhist meditation. And I think we'll have a go at that one too. I think it's good a little bit, depending how deeply you've gone in your meditation. And unfortunately, I don't know, because I don't have any wisdom perception, how you're doing. I can only see you physically, and that's the extent of my awareness. And of course, the people who are on YouTube, I can't see at all. I don't even know if there's anybody out there today, you know? So I always say, if you want to give me some feedback, just send an email to kbc@tara.org and put meditation in the subject line, and I will get it and we'll address it as best we can. So today I'm only going to talk a little bit, and then we're going to maybe meditate a little bit longer today and see how we do. And I'm not going to, I think we've been doing it long enough so that you know there's 3 gongs, and the one in the middle, I usually have a few words just to help us remember what it's there for, which is to return our attention back to our breath, check our posture, and keep going. I'm not going to say anything today. I'm just going to hit the bowl, so you're on your own to remember what it's for, and hopefully you will. And if you're so deeply in your meditation that you don't even notice it, or it just goes underneath, like the stillness underneath the waves, you know, this is a good thing. I've been noticing for myself lately, and I don't know why, if I'm sitting to meditate or even sitting quietly, which I'm trying to do more of, if my phone goes off and the ringer isn't usually very loud, I'm like this. So I don't know what's going on, but when our minds are calm and we're in that stable place, that doesn't happen. So just, you know, just a little bit of meditation trivia for you. Okay, so we do 2 meditations so far. We may be introducing some new ones, and maybe that will help all of us in our practice. But today we're doing the 2, the stabilizing the mind and the Tonglen. And we begin with the stabilizing the mind, remembering that we're combining the purpose of self and others with these 2 meditations. Everybody wants to be happy, whether it is the smallest creature you can think of or the most human being you can think of, or the biggest creature you can think of. Everybody's playing the same game. We want to be happy. Only thing is, we play by different rules. And some of the rules work in the short term, some of them don't work at all, ever. And some of them, slowly, you know, they build until we feel it, we see it, we live it, we love it, and we just want more, okay? So the Buddha teaches that what causes happiness is virtue, living a virtuous life. And I hope I don't have to define that for you. If you don't need a dictionary anymore, you have your phone. If you're not sure what virtuous means or what virtue is, look it up. So we create, most of the non-virtue we create, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but certainly a lot of the non-virtue we create happens in our interactions with others. You know, we get angry, we get impatient, we're stingy, fearful, jealous, prideful. You know, all of these different, there are actually 84,000 different afflictive emotions. The Buddha identified all of them. I stick with 5, because that's where I'm at. They're big, and I understand them, and I can see them. Hatred, greed, ignorance, jealousy, and pride. And pretty much everything else comes from those 5. So when we are able to subdue those and eventually trash them altogether, we are living the most virtuous life and experiencing the most happiness. And because what I believe, and you may not, and that's okay, and what the Buddha taught, is that we have lived countless lifetimes since beginninglessness, and so we have been cultivating these for a really long time. We can't expect them to end just because we'd like them to, or because we do 10 minutes of meditation every morning. In the beginning, It's an uphill climb. After we get the hang of it, then the reward is the accomplishment. When we see, oh wow, I didn't react in my usual way. I did it different this time and it feels better. And that other person, the person on the other end, they've gone away better too. Isn't that amazing? So that's what we're working with, what we're working on, and hopefully at the same time deepening in that calm space that we can reach as we deepen in our meditation. There are a number of metaphors, analogies. I get those two confused sometimes. One is like a really beautiful one that's a traditional Buddhist metaphor, I guess it is, that you visualize a very smooth body of water like a lake, and it's pure and it's calm. There's not a ripple on the surface. And you take a sword and you plunge that sword into the water, and what happens? It ripples out for a little bit, and then it resumes its calm space. It's calm all over again. You never knew that that happened. That's what we're trying to accomplish with our mind. So those ripples can be fairly gentle. We recognize that there's been a disturbance, but it's not a huge disturbance. It doesn't call forth a huge response. And slowly, slowly, we're back. We're back to our calm, peaceful, clear state. Okay? So, stabilizing the mind, the posture is important. So we're sitting with our spine straight, legs crossed. Make sure your seat is comfortable, so you're sitting on the best cushion you can find. Spine straight, arms relaxed, chin pulled toward the spine, jaw relaxed, teeth and lips not touching, tongue lifted to the roof of the mouth where the teeth and the upper palate come together. There may be aspects of this posture that don't feel comfortable right away. In addition, your eyes are open. I know that sometimes when people come here to the temple, they're accustomed to having their eyes closed when they're meditating. And that can cause, you could cause obstacles, obscurations. So we want to keep our eyes open, focus down so there's less peripheral vision, less distraction. And just if you notice that your eyes are moving one way or the other, gently bring them back. This is a gentle practice. We are training to be gentle with ourselves. If we are high achievers, we may not be gentle with ourselves. Maybe even medium achievers are not gentle with themselves. Maybe people who don't have good feelings about themselves are not gentle with themselves. I don't care. Learn how to be gentle with yourself. You will see that it spreads forth, just like the Tonglen, into being gentle with others. It's a habit. Just like those 5 poisons are a habit. We replace them with new habits. So we're sitting in an appropriate posture. The most important aspect is the spine straight, and the technique of this meditation is very simple. We place our attention on our breath, and every time the mind wanders away, we gently bring it back and begin again. Breathing normally into the belly and being aware of what the mind is doing so that we can bring it back to its focus on our breath. Okay? There will be 3 gongs, no words this time, just a beginning. And for the first one, and maybe for the middle one too, you can hear it now. You can hear the vibration slowing. And that will help you, I think, not to fixate on the sound, but be aware of the sound and allow it to take it deeper. That slowing down, think of it as a relaxation in the body and the mind. They all go together. They all go together. So think of it that way and allow it to do what it can without fixating on it or anything else. The second one will be a little bit more gentle. So if your meditation is getting deep, you won't be disturbed by it. And then the last one will also be gentle because I don't want to startle you out of your practice. Okay? So check your posture. Make sure your feet are flat, your spine is straight, your body is as relaxed as you can make it. You want to make sure that that straight line continues up from the shoulders through the top of the head. And just sit with your eyes focused down, breathing into the belly. And take a deep breath. And let it out slowly. Take a deep breath. And let it out slowly. And take a deep breath. And let it out slowly. Now allow your breathing to assume a normal rhythm. And begin. Gently bring yourself back. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly. Maybe it feels a little different this time. Okay, so we'll move on to the Tonglen, sending and receiving. We are sending out positive energy, good vibes. We have established a visualization, which I'll talk about in a minute. And whatever that visualization is, we see those ones or that one experiencing great happiness or joy. His Holiness the Dalai Lama says you can send out joy. And maybe it's easier to relate to joy, I don't know, whichever works for you. And then as we breathe in, we take in the negativity so that the person is relieved of that aspect of their suffering and they experience satisfaction and contentment. So, and that's the practice. Again, with the breath, we breathe out positive, light, joy. We take in negative, dark, suffering. And as we breathe out, we see happiness on the faces of the recipient or recipients. And as we breathe in, we see satisfaction and contentment, relief on their faces. So now, who are these faces? That's up to you to choose. And there are actually 4 choices you can make. The first one is a loved one. Someone that you care for a great deal who may be experiencing illness or some other form of suffering, loss of job. I'm sure there are lots of things you can think of. You know, difficulty in relationships, loneliness, all kinds of things that people experience that do not create the causes for happiness for them. So we're trying to relieve them of it, whatever it is. We have a loved one, then we have one with whom we have an antagonistic relationship. Sometimes those two are the same. I discovered in my own practice. So if it works out that way for you, then use it. Use it. The third one is a neutral relationship, someone whom perhaps we don't know well enough to either have strong feelings for one way or the other. And the last one is a group of some size, and it can be a small group, or it can be a huge group, or something in between. So we're just going to gong beginning and end, and you will choose one, and then if you need to switch, or you want to switch, that's up to you, and you can switch to any one of the 4. Get your visualization as clear as you can, and I think some of those are easier and some of those are harder of the 4. I'm going to suggest, but I won't know the difference, so it doesn't matter really that much what you do. It's up to you. But I'm going to suggest that you choose one that seems to be easy for you and one that seems to be not so easy for you. You're on your own time. Just try to get your visualization as clear as you can. And if you don't have a good experience with a good visualization, just remember your intention. Remember your intention. This is for us to help others to be happy and to not suffer. And just as sort of a byproduct or a fringe benefit of that, you cannot wish or do something to make someone else feel better or be happy without benefiting yourself in some way. What goes around comes around. Maybe you're familiar with that expression. If not, if you weren't before, you are now. It's the same thing as you reap what you sow in the vernacular. What goes around comes around. Okay, posture is the same. We begin our breath with an exhalation through the nose. So make sure your spine is as straight as you can manage. And you're comfortable. The body's relaxed. You're going to breathe into the belly still. establish your visualization. And begin. bring yourself back gently. We'll do some closing prayers. They'll appear on your screen. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I've accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice and all that I will ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas all together, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have. Similarly, I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. So if you don't have a dedication prayer that you know by heart, when you finish your meditation, you can just say, may all beings benefit by my practice. And you can actually do that with anything. You can turn anything into meritorious activity, even cleaning the toilet. It's all up here. So the more you dedicate, the more merit you accumulate, the more virtuous your life becomes, the happier you are. It's a win-win. So, also, before we shut you down, Thanksgiving is coming very fast. And I just would like you to think about, even if you're not American, because we do have people sometimes from far away checking in on YouTube. You may not celebrate our Thanksgiving, but think about what it's like when there is a celebration, and there's always food. There's always food around a celebration. But think about the people who don't have it, who can't afford it. We're trying to provide all of the people that we can reach in our area with a celebratory meal, and you can help. Wherever you are, you can help. Please send a donation to KBC Buddhist Relief. And if you're close by, we can use volunteers too. Anything at the temple. We use all kinds of people come here to volunteer and do in the garden or the grounds, animals. We have something for everybody here. So don't be a stranger and don't be stingy. Remember, what goes around comes around. You give, you'll get back without any effort on your part. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tanya.